What's up, everybody? Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Musical Musings from the Wild, ranking the epic songs. If you remember, a couple months ago, started doing these episodes where we're looking at bands who fairly regularly have some longish songs in their catalog, right? Maybe some have a ton of them, maybe some have a good amount, but like maybe one per album, right? We started off with The Doors. We've done Yes, we've done Genesis. We're moving on today to Jethro Tull. Now, of course, each episode I'm doing a different cutoff length, right? Because, like for The Doors, for instance, I believe it was 7 minutes. I think for Yes, we did 8 minutes. Because some of these bands, if you do 7, you've got 40 songs. Some, if you do 10, you don't have any, or few, right? For some, they've got a shit ton over 10 or 15 minutes long, right? So I know there have been a couple people in the comments who've been like, according to the gospel of Chris Squire, it's not an epic song unless it's 10 minutes or more. Well, that eliminates, a good chunk of the bands, right? So who cares? Chris, we love you. May you rest in peace. You're one of my favorite bass players of all time. But I'm playing by my own rules here. I'm going to make up whatever the cutoff time is whenever and every single episode. It's all because we want to have lots of bands that can play along here, right? That's the way it is. So some might be 10 minutes, some it might be 7. I'm leaning on not going 6 ever, because 6 that's not really epic. And, there's lots of bands that have like a million 6-minute songs. You get into 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, that tends to be epic for me. So yeah, we're going to do Jethro Tull, another instance of a band who I looked at a lot of the song lengths. And a lot of the ones that we think are pretty long and epic are like 6 and change. Tull has a ton of songs that are 6 minutes or longer. So I didn't want to include the 6 to 7 minute long songs because there's just way too many of them. So it made real sense to do 7 minutes and up for Tull. And of course they have 2 albums that are all one track, even though it's broken up into 2 like 20-minute sides, right? But we're going to look at them as the whole album epic, and that's the epic track, right? Of course, we know which those 2 are. We'll get to them in the countdown here. So we've got 14 of them in total. And as always, I'm just going to kind of rank them as I like them. In most of these, we're talking amazing songs, right? Ranking them is not easy, but it's fun because we're talking about the epic songs. So there's no right or wrong answer on how you rank them. I'm going to rank them as I like them. You rank them as you like them. For all the people that are going to be like, Pete, such and such is way too low in your list. No, because it's my list. I can put it wherever the hell I want to, right? I love all these songs, but you got to give the order of preference, even though it's splitting hairs on some of them. So play along down in the comments below. We got 14 tracks. Let's get going for number 14. Which is going to be From Roots to Branches, clocking in at 7 minutes and 55 seconds, At Last, Forever. Really good song. Probably, arguably, the loveliest song on this list of 14. And I like this album a lot. I think Roots to Branches is a criminally underrated album from Tull, latter period Tull album, and I played it to death when it came out. Saw them on this tour. I did a lot of great songs on here, including At Last Forever. Maybe though it's a little kind of light and orchestral. Not that there's anything wrong with that compared to some of these others. To me, out of the 14 we have here, I think I just like this one the least, but I still really like it a lot. So At Last Forever coming in at number 14. Coming in at number 13 at 7 minutes and 43 seconds from Rock Island, we've got The Whalers' Dues. Pretty cool song, actually. Not necessarily my favorite song on the album. It's one of them. I think Martin Barr's guitar work is incredible on this song. It's actually fairly heavy in spots. Some great flute on it. It change in tempo and mood throughout the song, which is really cool. The only thing I don't like about it is I think the keyboard sounds are pretty dated and just thin and just not all that pleasant. They just sound so 80s and just like they're lacking a little bit of balls compared to the rest of the song. But otherwise, I think it's a very cool track from another like an underrated album from Tull. Not one of their best, but I do like Rock Island quite a bit. So that's number 13. We're going to go back to Roots to Branches, clocking in at 7 minutes and 50 seconds for Wounded, Old, and Treacherous. That's so cool. Oh, man, that opening barrage on the flute and then Martin with the guitar. Oh, so good. Really, really good track. Always one of my favorites from this album. And again, this album is loaded with good songs. If you are like an old school Tull fan that maybe kind of stopped listening to them in the 80s or whatnot, and you somehow missed out on Roots to Branches, you need to go investigate this album. A lot of really good tracks on here. The title track is so good. I mean, we could just sit and talk all about Roots to Branches for the next 5-10 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, but definitely go check out Wounded, Old, and Treacherous, which I like quite a bit. That is number 12. And we're going to go to number 11, which is The Flying Dutchman from Stormwatch, clocking in at 7 minutes and 42 seconds. Regal, majestic. You know, this album is the third album in the like folk prog trio of albums from Tull, starting with Songs from the Wood to Heavy Horses to Stormwatch. This one is a little different, where the tone of those two albums is a little brighter, a little more uplifting. This is a darker album. I kind of like dark albums, usually a lot. And, you know, this got this whole like winter theme thing going on here. The whole album's got this dull, cold, dark kind of feel to it. And The Flying Dutchman is absolutely fits there. And it's majestic and epic. It, a lot of sweeps with all different variations and musical tones throughout it. And I think Ian is singing up a storm on it really, really good. You know, it's you're looking at this era as the tail end of Ian Anderson as a great, unique vocalist. I think his voice would start to really change probably right after Broadsword and the Beast, certainly going into Crest of a Knave, right? But I'd argue that he sounds amazing on this album, and I really, really dig it a lot. But yeah, The Flying Dutchman comes in at number 11. Speaking of Crest of a Knave, my number 10 is Budapest. Budapest, 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Yes, the album that won the Grammy for Best Heavy Metal Record of the Year, and the album wasn't even released in the year that it won the award for, which is ridiculous. I think it came out 2 years before that. The whole thing was just a big travesty. This is not a metal album at all. It's a great album. It's not a metal album. Budapest is great. Again, it's just a very, very... The chorus is great. It's got great flute in it. It just takes you on a journey. Here, you know, you got the keys sound great. Martin's guitar is really, really tasty on here. You got Ian doing his kind of like Mark Knopfler type vocal style, which he did on this album. But yeah, Budapest is awesome. And it's just so majestic, so grandiose. Love it. Really, really good. Number 9, clocking in at 7 minutes and 55 seconds. No Lullaby. Oops, wrong album. Sorry, hold on. No Lullaby from Heavy Horses. Great song. It's pretty heavy, pretty rockin'. Amazing guitar work from Mr. Martin Barre on it. I absolutely love No Lullaby, and a great chorus too. Very, very memorable. A lot of really good choruses on this album, Heavy Horses, which we'll be revisiting again in a little bit. So yeah, No Lullaby coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, let's go back to Stormwatch for Dark Ages. Dun 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 dun. 9 minutes and 7 seconds of wonderful, dark, heavy prog bliss. I love Dark Ages, man. So good. Darlings, are you ready? It's so good. Ian is just masterful on here, doing all these different voices and stuff, and the big cavernous riffing from Martin Barre. So good. Love it. Great song. Coming in at number 8, 907. Number 7, Pibroch, Cap in Hand, from Songs from the Wood, 8 minutes and 35 seconds. Martin's guitar, off the charts, great. The beginning of the song, he's like coming up from the depths of hell, right? That searing guitar, so good. And then you get the great everything else, the keys, the flute, man, Ian's vocals. Pibroch, Cap in Hand, so good. From an amazing album. 8 minutes and 35 seconds. That is my number 7. Coming in at number 6, we're going to go with the Baker Street Muse 16 minutes, 39 seconds from Minstrel in the Gallery, the big epic on this record. It's, what is it? 4 parts. It's amazing. I almost wanted to rank this higher. Originally, I had it a little bit higher. I think for one, Minstrel in the Gallery is the Tull album that is rising near the top of my favorite Tull albums. As time goes on, I love this album even more. And, I've discovered over the last bunch of years that this album is about way more than the amazing title track, which is one of my favorite Tull songs of all time. There's some great stuff on here, but yeah, Baker Street Muse, so good. I think that they do on Baker Street Muse kind of like what they learned on Thick as a Brick and a Passion Play and made another, like, the last really, really big gargantuan epic in their career. And like I said, it's just under 17 minutes long. So good. Absolutely good. Great guitar playing from Martin on this as well, and just the whole band just firing on all cylinders, man. The drumming on here, Barrymore's drumming, so good. So good. So that's my number 6, Baker Street Muse. Number 5 is going to be a Passion Play, all 40, God, I didn't write down exactly how long, 43, 44 minutes, something like that. Yeah, it's weird, it's out there, but it's amazing. You got Ian doing all sorts of different stuff. Basically, let's take a serious, like, kind of like Broadway play type of thing, a theater type play, and let's bring it to the stage. And yeah, all sorts of cool stuff going on here. To some people, this album is chaotic, doesn't make a lot of sense. I think it's amazing. Although, to be honest with you, I like, if you know the story behind A Passion Play, this obviously they went into the studio in France, the Chateau Disaster sessions, right? And they recorded the album, and Ian wasn't really happy with it, so he scrapped it. They went somewhere else and recorded what turned out to be A Passion Play. The original album, all right, made its way into some passages on here, some stuff on other albums, right? And shorter, instead of the big long epic, it's a bunch of shorter tunes, but following like a concept, and it's really, really heavy. With amazing guitar work from Martin on there. I kind of dig the Chateau Disaster tapes recordings a little bit more than this, and I love this. Just shows you how much I like that. So if you've never heard the original kind of version of this, I urge you to go check it out. You can get it. It's in the box set. The Nightcap compilation had a whole bunch of those tracks as well, those sweetened up with flute, because there's not a lot of flute on the original recordings. In fact, this album does have flute, but it's got a lot of sax. Ian's playing a lot of sax on this album. I love it, though. It's really good. Passion Play, number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with down, My God. My God is terrific. That's right. Aqualung is not 7 minutes long. It's just over 6. My God is great, 7 minutes and 8 seconds. It's got some cool folky bits, got a little bit of blues, got the big heavy hard rock riffing. It's got amazing flute from Ian. Ian's vocals are amazing. It just takes you on a journey. It's so good. It's so much emotion and atmosphere to it. It's dark and menacing and folky and everything. My God is absolutely terrific. One of many great songs on the Aqualung album. So good. That is number 4. Number 3, we're going to go to Heavy Horses. The title track, 8 minutes, 58 seconds. Title track to the great Heavy Horses album. Album number 2 in their folk prog trilogy. I know some people that like this the best of the 3. I think Songs from the Wood, Heavy Horses, and Stormwatch are all 3 amazing. It's kind of hard to pick one from the other, right? It's just they're all great. But man, Heavy Horses, again, so majestic. That opening, I mean, you feel like you're on the horses and you're just going through the woods, and it's just so amazing. It's just so Jethro Tull. There's nobody like this band. So good. Number 3, Heavy Horses. Number 2, Minstrel in the Gallery, the title track. Martin Barr's greatest, one of his many great moments in his time with Jethro Tull. I mean, the amazing guitar solo at the beginning, and then the big brontosaurus riffing, and the whole song just stomps, and Ian sounds great. I mean, the thunderous drumming, so good. I love Minstrel in the Gallery. 8 minutes and 13 seconds. That is my number 2. And my number 1, I'm sure you know what it is. It's one of the great long-form compositions ever in the history of this style of music, or any music. All 43 minutes and 46 seconds, or whatever it is, 43 something. Everywhere you go, it's listed as something different, right? Thick as a Brick. Even, when like on the various live albums, when they cut it down to like 15 minutes and they play like a little medley section of it, it's still amazing. You can take parts of it out, take parts out of it, make it a song. You can put it all together, play the whole thing. It doesn't matter. It's amazing. John Evans, keyboards on here. We haven't talked about him yet today on the show. Amazing. Man, he could roar on the Hammond organ like nobody's business. Got great drumming on here as well. So good. Guitars are amazing. Ian's wonderful acoustic guitar work and the flute and the vocals. Yeah, it's so good. Thick as a Brick, one of the all-time great prog rock epics. The concept album to end all concept albums, right? Yep. Yeah, so good. So good. That's my number 1. So, number 1, Thick as a Brick. Number 2, Minstrel in the Gallery. Number 3, Heavy Horses. Number 4, My God. Number 5, A Passion Play. Number 6, Baker Street Muse. Number 7, Pibroch, Cap in Hands. Number 8, Dark Ages. Number 9, No Lullaby. Number 10, Budapest. Number 11, Flying Dutchman. Number 12, Wounded, Old, and Treacherous. Number 13, The Whalers' Dues. And number 14, At Last, Forever. That is my ranking of the epics of Jethro Tull. 7 minutes or longer. Rank these songs as you like them down in the comments below. It's how we work these things. And we'll see you next time for another one. I think we're doing Rush next, so stay tuned for that. I've got Dream Theater looming in the weeks ahead, but that's going to be interesting because they've got lots of really long songs. So I may have to do for them, I may have to do like a 15-minute cutoff because they've got, I'll take a look at the 10 plus minutes, but they've got a lot of those too. So we'll have to take a look at that. But Rush will be next. And again, I haven't started looking at the lengths of the songs yet, so I'm not really sure exactly what I'll be doing for the cutoff on that. But it'll probably be somewhere around the 7-8 minute thing again, like we've been doing, I guess. But I'll have to take a look and see what we got. So yes, that's telling me, that little noise is telling me that I have another call coming up, and that call, as we break the fourth wall, is the UK connection. So getting ready to meet with those two wonderful human beings in just a few minutes to record our UK connection episode for this week. And otherwise, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together. Boom, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options, all listed down below. Thank you all in advance for all you do who support the channel. Greatly appreciated. And we'll see you next time here with more musical musings from the wild. All sorts of different topics coming up, and another ranking the epics coming up real soon. Rush is next. We'll see you then. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.